Also, something that's really important for fascia mechanics related to my crazy audience is that, um, the topic of loose skin always comes up. And the reality is that your meat and your fat together need to fill out your skin, or you're gonna have loose skin, no matter how much blasting, no matter how much collagen, okay? So one of the things that I really aim to do is educate my audience about lifting weights, we're just gonna call it that, but doing some type of resistance training. The first thing is that you have to achieve a training effect. We call it hypertrophy. So that is going to the burn. Now, we've devised the program in 3 levels, but my goal and my hope for you is that you can work your way up from level 1 to level 3. And if you're already at level 3, I'd like for you to be able to push it by increasing the amount of weight that you're lifting. The other goal is that, people always say, well, what about, doing a deadlift or an overhead press? And they do a lot of, let's just call it multi-chain, multi-joint activity. When you're trying to actually grow a muscle, I like to try to isolate the muscle as much as possible. So that's what we're gonna do in fascia mechanics, is we're gonna go muscle by muscle by muscle, the large muscles, okay? Those are the things that actually grow our arms. So if we don't like saggy skin here, this skin right here is shared with the bicep, the tricep, the delt, and then all the little underlying musculature. So if you don't want to have saggy skin here, it's not enough just to do tricep presses. We have to condition that whole arm and try to grow so that we can fill out our skin. And then the blasting is just going to help with getting the fascia to lay nice, getting everything to fire more. So that is how these work together. So it's not that I'm telling you don't do CrossFit, don't go running. I just want you to understand that if the goal is to create strength and to grow the muscle, then you want to try to isolate it out. The only exception in this program is that I am going to focus on 2 exercises for the shoulder girdle as well as the hip sockets for stability, which to me goes into a different classification of training. That is not to fill out your skin or to create a look, but it is important in terms of fascia because it relates to stability, which is why I included it in the program. And my very last note before I get started teaching you how to do all of this is that if you're going to grow a muscle, you need to consider 2 things that are leading the list of what's important. There's a lot that's important, but 2 things are super important. One is your age, because as we age, we tend to lose muscle mass. So you may have to train just to maintain what you have, okay? So I want you to be realistic, and I want you to set your goals in part based on your age. You may have to do more lifting than, say, somebody who's 20, okay? The other thing is what we're eating. It's very difficult. People come to me all the time and they say, oh, I just want to lose a little weight and tone up. Okay, well, usually those don't go together because one is doing a diet that leans you out with a lot of cardiovascular exercise, and normally when someone is putting on muscle mass, they are eating more, okay? So I just want you to, when you design your program, to balance all of these things out, because if you were to say do fascia mechanics and then go for 5 hours of run and you ate 1,200 calories, there's no way you're gonna put on muscle mass, okay? So we have to be very mindful. That's why I'm so excited about having Food School and FODMAP, because we can still follow these amazing programs that help us with our gut health and having a new relationship with food, but it's ultimately your decision based on what you're trying to accomplish, what your body, in terms of how much you eat and of what types of things, because if you're trying to grow muscle, then obviously we have to be more aware of the overall calories, they need to be more, and also the content of protein, even if you're vegan, okay? So just remember, this is a holistic body. You can't separate these components too much. And as you move into fascia mechanics, just being aware that there are other factors to weight training than just the actual weight training.